I'm very excited to have Jason Hartman join me because I don't know anybody, and this is a true statement, that is as well versed as what's happening within the real estate industry as Jason. So I'm so appreciative. At the end of the day, he is the expert in real estate. Jason, thank you for being with me.
Sharon, thank you for the kind words and thank you so much for having me. And it was such a pleasure to have you at our last Empowered Investor Live event in Irvine just about 2 months ago, I guess that was. And everybody just loved your presentation and loved everything you shared. So it was great to have you there. And I'm glad to be with your group today.
Well, you have a fantastic group, and everyone in his audience are investors and looking to expand their investments. And so this is the real deal. And Jason's going to take you on a journey as it relates to real estate. Thank you so much, Jason.
It's my pleasure, Sharon. Thank you. And everybody, I am so looking forward to talking with you today about income property, which I believe, and I'm waiting for someone to contradict me on this because I've been saying it for 21 years. I believe it is the most historically proven asset class in the entire world. I would say we are in a boring real estate market right now where there's just nobody's excited about it too much because prices have been flat. And when I say flat, it's a big country. So all real estate is local, as I always say. Some markets have been going up a few percentage points and some have been declining. Some of the markets that kind of got out over their skis, namely Austin, Texas, have been hit with a little bit of depreciation. But overall, prices are up in the last 12 months by about 3.74%. It depends what survey you look at. And the quote unquote normal, most economists and housing market prognosticators would say is about 6% appreciation normally. So we're a little lower than normal, but we saw such high appreciation rates in the COVID era where things just went through the roof. And speaking of the COVID era, I just want to mention throughout history, there have always been good, logical, sound reasons to think that the economy is going to collapse, starvation is going to occur, that World War III is going to occur, that another pandemic will occur, right? There's always reason to think all of these doomer thoughts. But what people tend to forget is how incredibly resilient people are and how people just generally cause a lot of problems, damage to the environment, whatever, right? But they always seem to, at least so far, knock on wood, figure it out and solve the problems. It is amazing to me how so many people can constantly be engaged in this negative cycle of negative self-talk and consuming doom and gloom type of news. We evolved. And in an era of scarcity, everything up until the Industrial Revolution was scarcity. Humans were always looking for more food, more resources, more of everything. It was a very scarce environment. But since the Industrial Revolution, we have lived in a world of abundance. However, our old brains have been trained for eons since the beginning of time to believe in scarcity and believe that there will be problems and to focus on the negative. And that has kept us alive. That helped us survive. We had to think that way throughout history in order to survive. It was a great tool. But again, the Industrial Revolution really changed a lot of things. And so we need to be conscious of that. One of the things that the sort of doomer mentality, the Chicken Little crowd who always think the sky is falling, one of the things they don't realize is that every morning, 8 billion people wake up somewhere in the world. And those 8 billion people are engaged in one dominant thought. As soon as they're maybe 3 years old, right? They're engaged in one dominant thought. It applies to the most successful people in the world and the least successful people in the world. And that one dominant thought is, how can I improve my situation? That is the dominant thought of every human all the time. You may not even consciously think about it, but that's our programming. How can I improve my situation? Now you might say, well, Jason, that's not true at all. There are all kinds of people engaged in self-destructive behaviors like drug addictions, alcoholism, etc., right? And that's true. But that dominant thought applies to them too. even if it's not a helpful thought or a productive thought, right? That dominant thought for the alcoholic is, how do I get my next drink? To that person, that is improving their situation, right? So why is this important? Why do I say this? Well, the reason I say this is because thankfully, since the fall of the Soviet Union, now most of the world lives under capitalism. And the only way any human can improve their situation, that dominant thought they have every day, all the time, it's just part of the firmware, not the software, it's the firmware, it's programmed into all of us. How can I improve my situation? The only way they can improve their situation is by helping someone else improve their situation and engaging in trade. And that trade grows the economy, it grows the economic pie, it grows the marketplace, and it just keeps making things better.